everyone. Good Friday afternoon, and welcome to Go Local Live. I'm Go Local News Editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for joining us for news and politics. I'd like to welcome in my first guest, Lisa Ranglin with the Rhode Island Black Business Association, here to talk about the upcoming awards gala. Lisa, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Kate.
Feels
Appreciate
like
being here.
Just this time last year, Josh and I were getting ready to be co-chairs of the awards gala. It's already coming up and upon us, recognizing a number of folks in the community for their work and more. So tell us what we can expect this year.
Oh, yes. So, Kate, thanks so much for having me. We're having an amazing lineup. So the gala is scheduled for Friday, October 11th. It is going to be at the Omni here in Providence. We're recognizing 10 amazing individuals that have done incredible work here in the state, whether it's small business owner, we'll have some community leaders, and more importantly, we're raising needed funds for the organization and also for scholarships. So we support college-bound students. Over the past, since the scholarship started back in 2015, we've actually awarded over $25,000 to a college-bound student, and that is just incredible because without your donation, some of these students will have a very difficult time in college. So we do hope you come out and support the gala this year.
Do we want to give folks any preview while they're watching now? We're going to make them check back in and read Go Local to find out who those honorees are. But
well,
keynote to top honorees, anything you want to let folks
well,
know?
I would just share that we have an amazing woman, Donna Coxum from Chicago. Oh my God, you all have to show up. She is a CPA, also an attorney, and a powerhouse. You got to show up to the gala. Make sure you get your tickets online directly at www.ri-bba.org. In addition, you could call the office at 401-383-1179. In addition to an amazing speaker, you'll hear from some of our college recipients over the last 5 or so years. You'll hear where they've been, what they've been up to at college. In addition, you'll hear from some of our local amazing people like Juna Jabi from Banneker Industry. You'll hear from him as well. You'll hear from Cheryl Burrell. She's one of our award recipients. Everybody know and love Cheryl. But all of the honorees are incredible. And we're also looking for sponsors. So again, our goal is to raise about $65,000 this year. All of that funds that we raise go directly back into supporting our local community, right around small business development, professional development. In addition, we also got $10,000 from the Women Fund. I must give them a shout out. And it's really around closing the gap as it relates to women of color in leadership ranks here in the state. We know that in Rhode Island we have a deficit as it relates to women of color in leadership role, not just women of color, but people in general of color. And we need to do more. And we're kicking off this fall a pilot program to do just that. To really ensure that women are thriving, but more importantly, to ensure that women and people of color are gaining access to needed opportunities so they can thrive and they can be part of this amazing economy here in the state. Again, we want Rhode Island to work for all of us, not just some of us.
I saw that you had the appeal on Facebook today, reaching out to folks again to look at opportunities for women of color, as you said, to achieve those highest levels.
Yes.
Break those glass ceilings, get to the C-suite, and also get the compensation that they deserve.
Yes, absolutely.
Again, here in the state. So that's going to be something that RIBA's working on this fall. Tell us anything else you want about what's currently taking place at RIBA that you think viewers should be aware of.
Well, I can't give you too much, but you have to really find us on Facebook and LinkedIn. But I can tell you, the organization is going through this massive transformation. So earlier this year, we read the article that was published by the Women's Fund and the Economic Progress Institute, where they talk about the state of Black women or women of color, women in general, but they also talked about the state of the communities of color. As a result of those studies, and we saw the data from the census, right? We knew that we had to do more. So again, we're scaling up the organization to work for all of us, for underserved communities across this amazing state. The way that you see RIBA today, that will change come 2020. So you have to keep it locked here at Go Local Prov.
We'll plenty more to talk about.
We'll certainly come back and talk about the amazing transformation. We're also recruited at the organization for professionals to join our board or committees. So Again, if you want to be a part of something amazing that really touches people's lives, I think you should consider being a part of this movement. I've been with this organization since it started back in 2011, and I can tell you the reason that I haven't left, because we're doing incredible work. And if you just show up and reach out to us, look at our our organization website, you'll hear so much and you'll fall in love the same way that I did when I started this journey back 2010. And I have we started 2010 as an interest group and then moved into an organization. You will not be sorry. It is a rewarding opportunity. The cool thing about it, you're touching really people that really need it the most, right? Those people that I think they do have a voice, but sometimes their voices are not heard, and we want to help them tell their amazing stories. So join us. We hope that you'll consider coming out to the gala October 11th, Friday, October 11th, right here in our capital city. We have an amazing honorary chair this year. Secretary or General Treasurer, General Treasurer Seth Magazina. I'm getting tongue-tied with all these.
He's got some big shoes to fill.
Yes, because that was you and Josh last year. So
Yes.
yeah, our treasurer has stepped up, and we'll be rolling that out a little bit more about what he'll be doing. But certainly he has stepped up in a meaningful way, and we're really grateful for that. So I look forward to seeing you all at the gala Friday, October 11th.
I have to say, going to the gala really does encapsulate the work that Reba does. Hearing from the folks who have gotten the college scholarships, getting that keynote speaker to put things in that broad perspective of where
Absolutely.
things are 2019. And again, those snapshots of the work that Reba does in the community.
Yeah.
So as Lisa said, trying to get folks who might be interested in doing more with Reba, there's no better place than going to the gala to meet with people, talk with people, hear their stories, and find out the work that they're doing in the community. So of course, I know you gave the website and the phone number. I'll be sure to put that as well, because we're going to be putting that on GoLocal Prop. You can find it over the weekend, so we'll point you in the right direction. Again, tickets, sponsors, tables, ways to support Reba at the gala on October 11th. So Lisa Ranglin, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Kate. I appreciate it.
And well, of course, we'll have the link up soon, but don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with our next guest. Hi everyone, welcome back to Go Local Live. I'm Go Local News Editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for kicking off the start to your almost weekend here with us in downtown Providence. We'd like to thank Lisa Ranglin for coming in to talk about the upcoming Rhode Island Black Business Association Gala on October 11th here in Providence. Be sure to check back more for more information. And of course, we'd like to welcome back a familiar face, Robert Whitcomb,
Put it there.
Go Local columnist.
Or actually, to do it right, you're supposed to go like that.
Or a
right?
little high
Or is that
five.
farewell, or I quit, whatever.
High five, it's Friday. Ready to rock and roll. Big news on Go Local right now. Fall River
Yeah.
Mayor Giselle Correa is
I
in
love
some
that. You
hot
cannot
water.
keep a good sociopath down.
Shaking down purportedly marijuana
Marijuana,
businesses.
right. Haven't I warned about this for the last 5 years I've
Did
been
you
coming
warn
in here?
about politicians shaking down marijuana? Or
I think I did. No, I did say that marijuana, it's like the gambling business. It corrupts. It corrupts. And yeah, but this guy is fascinating.
Absolutely.
This really should not be in the courts. This should be at Butler Hospital. I mean, I see sociopathic behavior. Of course, he's only about 11 years old, too.
Somebody made a
That's
comment
amazing.
that he's doing what other politicians do. He's just not doing it well.
World's oldest profession.
You can read more about it on
Yeah.
GoLocal as we continue to update you.
But very
with the
direct,
situation.
and of course, they've not been able
Yeah.
to dislodge him from
Nope.
the
There was a
leadership of that
previous attempt to.
wonderful city. I mean, he's the biggest scandal since Lizzie Borden.
Well, do you think it's sort of Buddy-esque that they like him, they really like him, and
Yeah,
they
Buddy
still
is
keep
smarter. I mean, Buddy
But they
was
keep voting
smarter.
him back in, even
they keep-
after
yeah,
some
yeah. Well,
transgressions.
I'm told by people who know him that he's actually very charismatic, very charming. I think in a way he's smart, in a way he's an idiot. And you know, I think there's some sort of seriously, joking aside, I think there's some kind of mania going on here.
Well, we
Yeah.
shall see. We'll
Yeah.
continue to report on that here at GoLocal. Obviously, some of the big news nationally, Hurricane Dorian making
Yeah.
its way up the coast, but Bahamas really got hit.
A couple of things about Hurricane Dorian I think interesting. Well, the wind is diminishing a little bit, but the barometric pressure, I've noticed this morning, had continued to fall, which is extraordinary. It's one of these weird things that's going on with the weather, like Hurricane Sandy going west into New Jersey. And there is strange stuff going on. I think it has something to do with rising water temperatures in the ocean off
You
the
thought
Atlantic.
the beautiful skies all
Oh,
across
yeah,
the
yeah.
state
I
last
thought that
night
was a
were
painting. I thought you painted that.
unbelievable.
But
a lot
I
of
mean,
folks say weather-wise, yeah.
there's strange stuff going on in the weather, I think, you know, just sort of scientifically. The barometric pressure continuing to fall, even though it's over land. It was over eastern North Carolina, I think, early this morning. Another interesting that came up regarding hurricanes, I read yesterday about testimony given a couple of months ago to Congress saying that the 5G networks is going to screw up weather forecasting
Very interesting. And
by
yeah.
interfering with the signals from the communications and weather satellites, and could reduce accuracy by 30%.
30%.
And this has particular interest in New England in predicting hurricanes, because in New England, once hurricanes that strike us, once they get north of, say, Cape Hatteras of the Carolinas, they accelerate very, very rapidly. In fact, some of the major hurricanes we've had here, like Carol in '54 and certainly the legendary '38 hurricane, have been moving in the whole storm, moving into southern New England at 50 miles an hour. And this diminution in forecasting ability could be exciting.
If not problematic.
Yeah.
Speaking of things
yeah.
that seem to be diminishing
Yeah.
in volatility, GoLocal wrote this week on what's the prospects of the Fane Tower now that we're going
Yeah.
into year 3,
Yeah.
looking at potentially a little bit of a different economy than when
Yeah.
developer Jason Fane had eyed Providence for his
Not a problem with
46
interest
story
rates.
tower.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
what
the
do you
interest
think?
rates are very, very low, but my hunch is we still will go into a recession next year. Now, how this will affect everything, I don't know. The Fed is doing, and prodded by President Trump, is doing everything they can to keep the interest rates very, very low, to keep the economy going. But I think they've pretty much used up their toolbox at this point. And you're now getting into negative interest rates where you will be paying a bank to hold your money. And how all this is going to work in the real estate business, I don't know. And obviously, we've been in even in Providence, which tends to be slower than much of the country, there's been a lot of building going on. But these things are extremely cyclical. Real estate, both commercial and residential, and there are signs of slowing in some of the major cities. So whether this thing actually goes up, I don't know. In the end of the day, Mr. Vane could blame the endless delays, layers of regulation, the city getting into the act, even though it's not the city's land, and all that sort of stuff. Isn't that right? State land. I think that's state land. Well, 195.
No, the bridge. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Fane is 195. I was thinking
So
the bridge
that's
is the
state
city,
land.
yes.
That's state land. It's not city land. And I think, and he claims, now he's going to say this for obvious or selfish reasons, but this has been the toughest place he's ever been to try to get a building up.
So you said he claims. Do you
Yeah.
doubt his claim?
I think it's probably true. Very, very slow. And remember, this isn't a fly-by-night guy. He's built these big
Yes.
fancy towers, Toronto, New York, various other places. He's like 77 years old. He's a veteran. This isn't some,
This isn't his first rodeo.
nor is he a member of the Kushner family. So, so he said that sort of bitterly, and then the state, of course, Majority Leader, Senate President Ruggiero and other people pushed through a way of trying to speed this up, but there's been such a long delay, it may never go up.
Speaking of development, plans unveiled this week by the DOT to once again look at Kennedy Plaza's configuration and potentially go low.
How many times have they tried to reconfigure Kennedy Plaza? And,
Shall I count the ways?
But the sad thing is, it could be just sort of spatially. It's really it could be one of the great open spaces in the United States. It's very dramatic, but it's always been, from a planning standpoint, chaotic, partly because it's been a transportation center, and there are other reasons too, sociological and other issues. So the question is, what do you do in the long run? I think there's something to be said to decentralizing some of the transportation. It's already controversial, put more of it over the Gary building and all that, the Gary courthouse. One thing which certainly caught your eye and my eye was the tunnel idea. Well, streets full of water, please advise. I mean, we're virtually at sea level, and I'm not sure how that would work from an engineering standpoint. Now, you can put tunnels at sea level, but it's very, very complicated.
Well, GoLocal broke the story about the Gano Street exit that they're looking to plan on in, 50 years projections from URI.
Underwater.
Potentially underwater. They need to do, obviously, environmental impact statements, but we shall see what happens moving forward with the proposal.
More boat traffic. Venice does very well getting the crowd. I think looking around, I'm looking out the window here, this could be sort of the American Venice.
The American Venice.
Or maybe Atlantis is more like it.
What can we expect this weekend?
Okay, other things, something that caught my eye, the cranberry growers, which have in southeastern New England, which is the biggest crop by revenue for Massachusetts. They want to there's a state plan to put solar panels on the cranberry bogs, sell the electricity and kick back some of the money in the form of stipends to the cranberry growers. The idea is both to protect open space, cranberries, and to have more, locally created renewable energy.
Okay.
There's some doubt as to whether in some places this might affect the crop by shading. But we'll find out. But I thought that was kind of neat. Protect open space and generate electricity. Another interesting thing I thought was there's a state senator from Massachusetts called Dean Tron, a Republican, who wants to put in a law on barring face coverings by demonstrators and protesters. And I agree with them on this.
For the reason of identifying individuals?
Identifying crime, yeah. And there are 15 or 16 countries, including several Muslim countries, where women often wear burqas, where they've banned this as a law enforcement thing. In France, it's banned. Those burqas that cover everything except for this little view,
What do you see as the potential for this in Massachusetts?
I think it's got a chance, actually. Got a chance. The guy, it's tough. He's a Republican. He's from Fitchburg, and, it's a Democratic state, but we'll have to see what the law enforcement people say, the state police and the governor. But I didn't think this was treated as some crank idea. But again, 15, 16 countries have banned the burqa for a similar reason. The exception would have to be kids at Halloween, little kids at Halloween.
The Halloween carve-out, the Halloween caveat.
Like that. I think that's it. The other thing, I've noticed that CVS is pumping up their anti-smoking thing. Well, I noticed also, I remember that last year they bought Aetna's health insurance, among other things. So the money and CVS got out of selling tobacco products, I think 2014. So they lost some revenue of that. They may make it up in lower and smaller claims on the health insurance side.
There's an upside.
So
okay.
It's very exciting. And we see what else, whether we talked about that. I think that's probably, there's some other things.
You'll have to read it on Sunday when Robert Wickham is published on GoLocal. So thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Kate.
And thank you for watching. Of course, we'll be popping up throughout the afternoon and weekend. And find us on GoLocalProb.com and find us on Facebook. And we'll see you next week. I'm GoLocal News Editor Kate Nagel.